एष देवो विश्वकर्मा महात्मा सदा जनानां हृदये सन्निविष्टः। ॐ सहना भवतु।
ॐ सहना भवतु।
सहनौ भुनक्तु।
सहनौ भुनक्तु।
सह वीर्यं करवावहै।
सह वीर्यं करवावहै।
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु।
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु।
मा विद्विषावहै।
मा विद्विषावहै।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
So we were Yamaraja praising and appreciating Nachiketa's qualities. So we will chant from 10th, that is the last shloka we did yesterday, thereafter. I had explained already 10th verse. That is 1.2.10. जानाम्यहं शेवधिरित्य नित्यम्।
जानाम्यहं शेवधिरित्य नित्यम्।
न ह्यध्रुवैः प्राप्यते हि ध्रुवं तत्।
न ह्यध्रुवैः प्राप्यते हि ध्रुवं तत्।
ततो मया नाचिकेतश्चितोऽग्निः।
ततो मया नाचिकेतश्चितोऽग्निः।
अनित्यैर्द्रव्यैः प्राप्तवानस्मि नित्यम्।
अनित्यैर्द्रव्यैः प्राप्तवानस्मि नित्यम्।
So Yamaraja said that knowing that the permanent or the ultimate truth cannot be attained by any of the causally related work like Yaga, Yajna or anything of that sort, which are temporary, adhruva, which are not constant, changeful. Even knowing that also, I had performed the Nachiketa Agni Yajna, and by which I have gained the Yamaraja's pada, the position of Yamaraja. So, although we knew that any anitya dravya, by the offering of any impermanent, perishable things, the imperishable cannot be attained. What is the idea? He is saying that knowing that also I did. That means I could not avoid the allurement of the Yamaraja pada, that I also failed and I have taken this. So he is trying to say, then the next verse will say that, but Nachiketa, you have rejected that also. Because he gave himself all the position of the creator Brahma, so to say. So it is said that whether it is a small kingdom, small things of money or anything from the creator's position, that generally we call the creator as Brahma or Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha means the golden egg. That is the cosmic egg, the creation, from where the creation starts. Now that creation as such is Prakriti, it is inert, it is nature. The concept is that when the Purusha does ahankara in the entire creation, then he becomes Brahma. That is, Brahma cannot be without the consciousness. When the consciousness gets limited by the objective universe, he becomes Brahma. That is why in Ramayana you will find when Brahma came to see him, Rama asked, which number of Brahma you are? That means Brahma is not one. He thought that he is the supreme ruler. But Rama asked him that which Brahma you are. No, from era to era Brahmas are changing. That is also a temporary post. So knowing that he says Nityam, but it is Nityam says in a temporary sense, that it is a very long term allotment of the position that way. Then the next verse, Kamasyaptim jagatah pratishtham
कामस्याप्तिं जगतः प्रतिष्ठां
Kratoranantyam abhayasya param
क्रतोरनन्त्यम् अभयस्य पारम्
Stoma mahadurugayam pratishtham
स्तोममुधदुर्गायं प्रतिष्ठां
Drishtva dhritya dhiro
दृष्ट्वा धृत्या धीरो
Nachiketotyasrakshi
नचिकेतोऽत्यस्राक्षीः
Kamasyaptim jagatah pratishtham
कामस्याप्तिं जगतः प्रतिष्ठां
Kratoranantyam abhayasya param
क्रतोरनन्त्यमभयस्य पारम्
Stoma mahadurugayam pratishtham
स्तोममहदुर्गायं प्रतिष्ठां
Drishtva dhritya dhiro
दृष्ट्वा धृत्या धीरो
Nachiketotyasrakshi.
नचिकेतोऽत्यस्राक्षीः.
He said that I got bound in the Yamaraja's position, but Nachiketa, who is a dhiraha, he seeing whatever I had given, offered to him, seeing all that, analyzing all that with dhruti. Dhruti means with his resolve for the ultimate truth. His resolve for the ultimate truth is so much that Nachiketaha atyasrakshihi. O Nachiketa, you have rejected all that. What have you rejected? That is about the Hiranyagarbha pada he is saying. Kamasya aptim. Kamasya aptim means kamasya aptim. That means the ultimate of all desires. Because that is the whole cosmic creation. Beyond that there cannot be any further enjoyment or desire to be fulfilled. Jagata pratistham, that is the support of the entire materialized objective universe. Krator anantyam, kratu means yajna. Actually kratu also means desire, because people perform yajna only when they have desire for the corresponding phala, they do. So kratu, the word is used for yajna as well as desire, both sense. Sometimes it is used for Vishnu also, because Vishnu is called Yajno vai Vishnu. That ultimate of Yajna, the Yajna itself is Vishnu. That way he is also called Kratuhu. Here it is the Yajna, Krator Anantyam Abhayasya Param. That is, it is the last of the Yajnas one can think of. All the result of the Yajna one can think of. And it is the fearlessness. It is the ultimate fearless abode. Actually, it is not fearless. It is also limited, and Brahma also has the fear of losing his position. So, it is in a relative sense, it is saying that it is the param means the shrestha, the best of the fearless abode. Stomam means who? Stoma means stuti, which is always worshipped and praised by the people. Stoma means stuti. Mahat urugayam pratistham. Mahat means the great universe where everything is there, everything is inclusive in that. Urugayam means all pervading and also eternal. Support, pratistham. Drishtva dhritya dhiro nachiketo atyasrakshihi. So it is, again I have explained that praising the qualities of a disciple is to telling him the importance of that quality. That you have rejected everything, whatever was offered. Even I got bound by this Yamaraja's position, but you have rejected even the Brahma's position, so you are great. That is what he is saying. By that he is praising his vairagya, that you are great you are even superior to me in vairagya. See, it is all the Sadhana Chatushtaya you should understand. Everywhere I am emphasizing that yesterday I emphasized how mumuksha, what is mumuksha. So it is the supreme vairagya that you have, he is saying. And you should remember these sadhana chatushtayas, when you take to this ultimate level, that means the realization also. It is the same thing. As we imbibe the qualities more and more and more, we move towards the self-realization or the ultimate understanding. So, Nachiketa, you have left everything. Then, saying that, already he has cautioned him also that you should not forget, that he is praising as well as cautioning. Earlier he has cautioned that Naisha tarkena matirapaneya. The mindset, the intelligence you have got, it cannot be attained by tarka, and you should not lose by tarka, getting into the trap of arguments. You should not lose this innocent aspiration that you have, that innocent mindset you have, you should not lose it also. He also said that this is understood very well when it is given by somebody. So because I am praising you, you have great medha, you understand everything, don't think that you can have it on your own. Although you are fit receptacle, but this knowledge has to come from a knower who has realized it, then only it is understood. Not only that, it has to come from a person who is ananya, that means for him there is no second. That means who has identified himself with the universal soul. As in Bhagavad Gita, always Krishna is saying Mai, Mai in that sense. Now he is talking about the ultimate goal, that praising the goal. This is also important in the Shastras, because unless the goal is properly, unless you praise it, the student will not have a proper valuation of the goal. Whatever you don't have a proper valuation, you will not do the sadhana for that. You will not give it enough of shraddha. To develop the shraddha for a particular end, it is always has to be projected with all its greatness, all its loftiness, everything, so that you start giving it a value. Only when you evaluate it, only when you give it value, you will have the shraddha towards it and you will try to put your effort to gain it. So these two shlokas are 2 or 3, I will see. Tam durdarsham gudhamanupravishtam.
Tam durdarsham gudhamanupravishtam.
Tam durdarsham gudhamanupravishtam.
Tam durdarsham gudhamanupravishtam.
Guhahitam gauhareshtham puranam.
Guhahitam gauhareshtham puranam.
Adhyatma yogadhigamena devam.
Adhyatma yogadhigamena devam.
Matva dhiro harsha shokau jahati.
Matva dhiro harsha shokau jahati.
He says, Matva dhiraha harsha shokau jahati. One who comes to realize this, the dhiraha we have already explained yesterday, the day before. The dhiraha realizes this truth, he goes beyond, he outlives harsha and shoka. Harsha means elation and shoka means depression. It's not that he will not have dukkha and sukha. Dukkha and sukha will be there, but he will not get affected or elated by sukha. He will not get depressed in dukkha. If dukkha sukha is not there, then where is the question of samatva in sukha dukkha? If a person does not have sukha dukkha, then the meaning of samatva in sukha dukkha loses meaning. So, sukha dukkha will be there. Actually, for a knower, the dukkha will be much more than the usual people because of his embracing a very large circle. He can carry large amount of dukkha also. Similarly, sukha also will be whatever he sees and whatever pleases him, that sukha will be there. But he will neither be clinging to sukha nor be hating dukkha. He will not try to run away from a suffering situation. He will not run after any sukha situation. Whatever comes, he accepts. Like the apuryamanam machala pratishtam, samudramapah pravishanti yadvat. Like the sea, he accepts the dirty water as well as the pure water. Everything comes, everything goes also. So, he outlives harsha shoka. Now, tam durdarsham, the first word uses durdarsham. Durdarsham means which is very difficult to see or to know. Darsham, seeing means not with the eyes, but whatever it is. Now, Durdarsham, why? Because it is not, I had explained earlier that knowledge are of two kinds normally, Pratyaksha and Paroksha. Pratyaksha means direct perception with the sense organs, and Paroksha means inference based on the perceptions. These are the two kinds of knowledge generally used. Most of the scientific knowledges are based on Pratyaksha, but the model we get about the elementary particle, probability waves, or even gravity, whatever it is, they are all models, they are all inferences based on the Pratyaksha. That we should know. Even gravity, it is not a Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha is the, if you leave the something, it falls. The moon goes around the earth in a certain trajectory. These are Pratyaksha. On the basis of that, we infer that there is something called gravitational force. Even, so to say, electricity is an inference. Electricity you never see anywhere. You see the light, you hear the sound, you move, the fan is moving, everything is happening, you come to know, you can perceive. But electricity you don't perceive directly until it has something. Even light is not seen. The light as such is not seen. When the light is scattered by an object, that object is seen. If light is possible to see, if it is possible to see light, then when we go to the space, we would have seen that from the sun the light is coming. The space would not have looked dark. You see in the photographs, the space is absolutely dark, because when the light is coming, you don't see. The moment it falls on the spaceship or any other object or planet, immediately that becomes bright. So in the space, because this air is not there, which is scattering light and making the sky blue, that is not there. The space is always dark, absolutely dark, in which all the objects are very bright. The light is not seen. When the light is scattered by an object, that object is seen. So generally we have these two knowledges, kinds of knowledges. One is directly perceived, another is inferences based on the direct perception. Now the soul is neither directly, it is neither Pratyaksha nor Paroksha. You cannot directly perceive, and you can of course infer from various things, but that inference will not be able to dissolve the ajnana or the ignorance we have. Why? Because ignorance we have is a Pratyaksha. Whatever fragmentation of the world, the objects, gross objects, everything we perceive as the objective world, that is our Pratyaksha. Now that Pratyaksha will not go by Paroksha unless there is something parallel to the Pratyaksha. That Pratyaksha ignorance will not be removed fully. So we have in our case something called aparoksha. That is, we cultivate the paroksha knowledge first. What we are doing now. What we are doing is paroksha. That means I am giving you several explanations. I am trying to explain this way as the Upanishads has done. I have trying to interpret further, giving examples, etc. By that your intelligence and mind, they are working, and they are trying to conceive of the reality of the soul. But it is paroksha that will not be able to eliminate your worldliness. For the worldliness to go, this paroksha has to become aparoksha. Aparoksha means non-inferential. Paroksha means inferential. When this paroksha becomes aparoksha, that is non-inferential, that means the truth of the soul shines directly in the buddhi, the foundation of the buddhi. You don't have to analyze anymore. You don't have to infer from various things. All these analysis we are doing, they will not be necessary. The truth will be happen that the whole universe is appearing in the consciousness. Nobody has to tell you anymore. It is somewhat like the other day I said that I have a mind, that is a sort of aparoksha, because it cannot be perceived by the sense organs. The mind cannot be perceived by the sense organs. It is not an inference also, but you know you have a mind. Similarly, the I, the small I, the ego in us, the I-ness in us, that is also, it is a direct knowledge for you. Is it not so? This I is used as aham pratyaya gochara, that the conviction I am, that amness, that itself is called the Atma. Atma is called aham pratyaya gochara. That is the usual Atma we know of. That is the I-ness in us. That I am saying it is almost aparoksha. Why? Aparoksha. Why? It's neither pratyaksha nor paroksha, it is a direct knowledge. But this knowledge also depends on that you have a mind has to be revealed by the real consciousness or the real I. When the mind is not there, that is also revealed by that I. So the existence of the mind depends on the consciousness, the I, the real I. Similarly, the small I also, that I am and that egoistic I, its existence also depends on this I-ness is revealed. Suppose when there was no signal at all, you were unconscious, say in accident I have fallen unconscious. After getting up, you will know that I did not know anything at all. You will not know how much of the time, because the time sense will not be there, because there is nothing, no signal. But you will know that there was a blank, that is for some time there was no signal, that is there was vacuum, you can say. I have not seen anything. That is revealed by the I. So the mind and the small I also needs a revealer I, which is our Atma, real identity. So they are dependent on this real identity. Am I clear or confusing you more? So this small I and the mind, they are dependent on the real I, which we are trying to explain. So they are not fully aparoksha in that sense. They are also direct knowledge, but the real aparoksha is when it is absolutely independent of any other thing. That real I, it does not need anything else to reveal it. It is an independent revelation. That is the aparoksha. That is why we call it non-dual revelation. I will come to it further. In the next shloka also it will be there. Because in one word if you go so much, then Durdarsham I was explaining the first word. Gudham anupravishtam. Gudham means secret. Naturally it is a secret because it is not within the perceptive world, indriya grahya world. Anupravishtam means, anu means the subtlest thing. In our Sanskrit, anu is not just atom, as we in physics book and all we translate as anu as the atom and paramanu as the small. But in Sanskrit, as we have in the Shastras, anu means that subtlest particle, whatever subtlest thing we can think of. Anupravishtam means which is even pervading or permeating the subtlest we can think of. Do you get it? So however subtle an object you may say, it is pervading that, it is permeating that. That means subtler than that. Permeating means it is subtler than that. Is it not so? Because even the minutest particle also we are coming to know only when it is appearing in our consciousness. The whole universe is appearing in our consciousness. So even if the minutest particle also appearing in the consciousness, they need the support of the consciousness to exist. Do you get it? So anupravishtam means so much. Anupravishtam means the subtlest objective thing also, because it is the subject, it is not an object. It is the consciousness which is revealing the universe and revealing itself also. All other objects are revealed by this consciousness. They are all depending on that. So anupravishtam guhahitam gavhareshtham puranam. Guhahitam means you can think of the, as I said, buddhi guha as well as hrid guha. We refer to guha, but many places you will find buddhi guha, many places you will find hrid guha. That means our identity we refer to hridaya guha, which is the emotional center of our identity, and buddhi guha means the understanding or intelligential center of our identity. Why I am saying it, there it has a practical application. When you tell somebody that who did it, I did it. It is not this heart, but the emotional center of the center called heart, our hridaya. It may not be the biological heart, but we are generally showing like this. That is the heart, I did it. That is the I feeling, emotional feeling we are associating here. But when you are trying to understand that who is this revealer, who am I, if you search through your buddhi, then where do you finally get that revelation? Are you not approaching through buddhi that I am the seer of the body, I am the knower of the mind, I am the knower of the thoughts, I am the knower of the emotions? Even if the mind, I say that mind is seeing, then which part of the mind is seeing what? That mind has to be seen by another part, that has to be seen by another part. It will be ad infinitum, infinite regression. So it is the I final which is revealing the mind also. So that I you will not say here. Generally you will find that when you are trying to do that experimentally, you will find the focus is here, and if you really pursue it, you will find that it goes beyond this and somewhere here it will come. You will find you have become bodiless. When it leaves this point and the focus comes here, you will have an experience of bodilessness. But don't get deluded that bodilessness experience also is created by the brain. Our brain creates the body with body experience as well as the bodiless experience. Or you can say it is the consciousness which has created the brain also. I don't want to go into so much detail, but it is experimentally this is it. Buddhi guha means you approach through the intelligence and reach that. Guha means cavern. The inside that. Finally you have to transcend that to reach that. Yo buddhehe paratastu saha. Forgotten. In Bhagavad Gita 3rd chapter we were saying, Evam buddhehe param buddhva. Samstabhyam atmanam atmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. We did it in our Bhagavad Gita classes. That is, still beyond buddhi is the soul. And by knowing this, we can win over all the karma. That was the statement. So that is the guhahitam, means it is there in the cavern of the intelligence and cavern of the heart, whichever way you say. Gauhareshtham, they have used guha as well as gauhara. So generally the interpreters say that gauhara they are referring to the body which is gross, which has all kinds of defects. But there also it is as the Shrestha, which is in the body, in the personality, which is made of all the gross elements, all kinds of ripus and all kinds of defects and all. There also it is seated in that. That is, to look for it, we don't have to go outside the space or anywhere. We can look into our gross body and we can find out there also. Gauhareshtham. Puranam. Puranam means, as such it means old. But whenever we are using this Puranam, it means, old means it is eternal. That means as far back in time you can go, it was there. That means it is surpassing time. It is transcending time also. Eternal means transcending time. Generally we say eternal means always it was there. No, the time has come within it. When did the time start? The statement doesn't have any meaning. Because if I say the time started then, that means time was already existing. Is it not? If I said the time started with the Big Bang, that means time was already there and Big Bang was somewhere in the time. It is not right. Time is cyclical. There is no origin of time. It is a cyclic process. You have to go beyond duality. Beyond duality means beyond time also. Time means cause and effect chain. You have to surpass, you have to outlive time, space, causality, everything to go to the truth, transcendental truth. That is the Puranam, means which transcends time. Adhyatma yogadhigamena devam. That is the Devam, the ultimate revealer of everything. Devam, I said, Devam has come from Div Dhatu, means brilliance, the revealer. Even sun is not the ultimate brilliance, because sun has to be revealed by my consciousness. So the ultimate revealer is the consciousness in us. In Gayatri we pray to that brilliance, which is revealer of my body, revealer of the external objective universe, revealer of the internal world of emotion, thoughts and everything, the ultimate revealer. That is the real Devam. So that Devam, Matva, means knowing that, how? Adhyatma yogadhigamena. By the Adhyatma yoga, that means through the path of Adhyatma yoga. I have already explained on the first day in Shvetashvatara, the students of Brahma Vidya, they were discussing whether it is this, whether it is that. Then they could not find anything which can be taken as the independent of everything. Everything becomes dependent on the other. Then they did not have any other way. So, te dhyana yoga anugata apashyan. भूल गए सब कोई. Te dhyana yoganugata apashyan. Then they took to meditation, dhyana yoga. Adhyatma yoga, dhyana yoga is same. Dhyana yogenugata apashyan. They saw. It's an experimental record of the fact. They saw. What did they see? Devatma shaktim swagunair nigudham. They saw Devatma shaktim. What is that? One word, Deva Atma Shaktim. Deva means the ultimate revealer. They understood this is the independent revealer of everything. That is the Deva. Atma, that Deva, the revealer itself is what I am calling as I. I do not know the dimension of the I. That is the real I. Deva Atma Shaktim. And that is the source of the entire energy that we are seeing in the universal display. The whole display is in that consciousness. As Kathopanishad says, Yasya Jnanamayam Tapaha, that the whole creation has come out of an austerity in the knowledge. The ultimate source of the universe or the substratum of the universe is knowledge alone. Knowledge means non-dual knowledge, consciousness. So, Adhyatma Yoga Adigamena Devam Matva Dhiro Harsha Shokau Jahati. Etat Shrutva Samparigrihya Matyah Pravrihya Dharmyam Anumetamapya Pravrihya Dharmyam Anumetamapya Samodate Modaniham Niyam Hilabdva Vivritam Sadma Nachiketa Sammanye Etat Shrutva Samparigrihya Matyah Pravrihya Dharmyam Anumetamapya Samodate Modaniyam Hilabdva Vivritam Sadma Nachiketa Sammanye Etat Shrutva. Etat means about this truth, about this Atma, about this Brahman, the truth. Shrutva, first listen to it. Earlier he has said that it has to be listened to from a knower, then only it becomes understood. So Shrutva, when they say, in the Jnana Sadhana, we have the method is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. This is the Jnana Sadhana method. The exclusive knowledge pursuit or Kevala Jnana Nishtha is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Shravana means listening to the truth from a knower, so that we can grasp what it is. Once we have listened to the truth, then we have to do manana. That means the intelligence will still raise question, because it will not become clear that the Guru said that the Atma never gets affected, but I always feel affected. I feel that my Atma is within the body. How can it be? Or Atma, he says, is universal, transcendental, but I don't feel like that. Various questions will come, and the Shastras also you will find contradictorily speaking here, there. You will not be able to resolve. So that is called manana. That means you apply your own intelligence to inquire into the truth. It is not to decry the truth by arguing, but inquiring into the truth and trying to understand what is it actually representing. That is called manana. This manana will go on till you are completely satisfied, you are doubtless. That till you reach a point of doubtlessness, this manana will continue. But this manana will give you, will perfect the paroksha jnana, as I said. Listening both Shravana and Manana together will perfect the paroksha knowledge, the inferential knowledge. But it will go towards perfection. When Manana takes us to a doubtless position, then automatically it takes us to Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana means Eka Tattva Ghana Abhyasa. Eka Tattva Ghana Abhyasa. Eka Tattva means then you have already accepted by your intelligence that this is the truth, that everywhere it is the Atma, the whole universe is appearing on the Atma. There is nothing other than Atma or Brahman. And Atma and Brahman, they are the same. Brahmatma ikatva bodha. They are the same. Once we have accepted, then this cross questioning, this, that, and all that method, that will not be there anymore. So you will be constantly contemplating on the truth and truth alone. That is the Eka Tattva, that is the truth. Ghana means there is no break in that. Now sometimes we are reading, we are thinking, sometimes we will be completely forgetting about it. Again sometimes we will do manana, maybe in the day 2-3 hours or 4 hours we will do manana. But there will be a break. But in Nididhyasana there won't be any break. That is Ghana means that Eka Tattva Ghana Abhyasa. The practice is to constantly meditate and contemplate on the truth. This Parakashta, the ultimate, the peak of Nididhyasana is the Nirvikalpa Samadhi we say, but we should understand it is Jnana Samadhi. In Jnana practice it is not a Nishchala Samadhi. It is called Jnana Samadhi, where the truth becomes absolutely clear to you. That is called the Aparoksha. That is called Aparoksha. So, this Aparoksha, it is also expressed as the name given is Asparsha Yoga. In Gaudapada Karika, particularly it is there. Asparsha Yogo Vainama Durdarsham Sarvayogi Vihi. Asparsha Yogo, this is Mandukya Karika, Gaudapada's Karika 3.39. Those who are interested can write down. Asparsha Yogo Vainama Durdarshaha Sarvayogi Bhihi Yogino Bibhyati Hyasmat Abhaye Bhayadarshinaha. He says Yoginaha Bibhyati Hyasmat Abhaye Bhayadarshinaha. That even the yogis, they come back not attaining this because they are afraid of it. Why? Because they think that they are losing their personality. The personality is getting dissolved. Actually the small ego, we have created ego, that ego, small ego gets dissolved. Then only you can become the universal I. But when the small ego is about to dissolve, people feel that I will not have the individuality, I will not have the personality, I am going to die in a way like that. I am losing my personality. So they get terrified from that and come back. So he says, Yoginaha bibhyati hyasmat abhaye bhayadarshinaha. That means they fear in the abode of fearlessness, because fearlessness will result only from the non-dual position. When there is no second, there is nothing to fear at all. From whom you will fear? That is the abode of fearlessness. But they, because of that smallness, they feel that this, I am going to die, that ego is going, that ego, that small I is about to get dissolved. So he says, Asparsha Yogo Vainama Durdarsha Sarva Yogi Bhi. Here also see, they have said Durdarsham in the previous verse. Durdarsha Sarva Yogi Bhi. Why? It is the Asparsha Yoga. That means there is no second to give you a contact. It is normally, always, yoga means you are in touch with something else. Here there is nothing else which you will come in contact. All our sukhas are generally in contact with something. In this case it is not. There is nothing to give you any sensation or any signal. So he says, Etat Shrutva, that means after hearing or listening to the truth, about the truth, Samparigrihya, that means Samyak Parigrihya, that means absorbing it very well, understanding it very well. That means manana. See, the first is Shrutva means Shravana. Samparigrihya means manana, and doing the manana so that you become doubtless. Matyaha, the mortal man. Pravrihya. Pravrihya means, actually it is a parallel to the Nididhyasana. Shabana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Pravrihya actually means disassociating or discriminating, that like you are taking out the kernel of the rice from the husk. That is called pravrihya, taking out. Like that, discriminating the soul from the body-mind personality. That it is not touched by the body-mind personality at all. Unless we are able to take it out, the real Atma will not be known. Generally the religious Atma we think of, it is associated with the body, mind, personality. That is why we say that after the body falls, it goes with the Sukshma body and all. That limitation is still there in our imagination. In this case, that limitation has to be overcome. So you have to isolate it, discrimination. By your Viveka, you have to isolate it from the body, mind, personality. That is a process of Nididhyasana. Why? Because constantly meditating on the transcendental soul, your body, mind, personality goes. That you completely get dissolved in the soul. So it is actually etat shrutva samparigrihya pravrihya. These three are Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Whereas pravrihya they have used with another sense, that it is a disassociating the personality from the soul. Martyaha, that is about us, the mortal man. Martyaha means mortal. Anumeta, dharmyam anumetam apya. Dharmam anumetam apya. Etam anum. That this dharma means the truth, which is absolutely subtle. Apya means by realizing it. Now this apya means prapti actually. But here it is not a prapti that you have some second thing which you get. It is not it cannot be called an attainment that you are attaining it. Because what is the process, by the process what we are doing is that the knowledge or the knowledge practice is removing the covering on the real identity. Removing the ajnana or the ignorance about our real identity. When it is removed, we become what we are. So actually there is nothing to gain, prapya. It is not like no prapti at all. You are always that. We are the Atma. There is nothing new in it. But it has got covered. We have forgotten. That memory comes back that we are that. So we cannot call it prapti. So here apya is used, but apya in the sense of this sense. That non-dual sense. That we have to remember. To understand any shloka to the depth, you have to always remember this non-dual position. Then it will become easy. Sa modate modaniyam hilabdva. Sa modate modaniyam hilabdva. Modate means he rejoices. Direct meaning is rejoices. Modaniyam hilabdva means by getting that which is joy itself, which will give you joy. Now here also normally there is a sequence of joy. Suppose you see an object or you get an object. There is a contact with the object. This is the first step. Then that sensation will go to the brain and it will compare whether you like it or dislike it. So if you like it, the mind will produce the sukha. Is it not? The sukha is always in the mind. Even the tongue is not producing the sukha. The tongue is sending some signal and the mind is the producer of sukha. Origination of sukha is from the mind. Suppose if rasgulla you like, you say that the tongue is also having the sukha of getting touch with the rasgulla. It is not so. After 10 rasgullas, 11 one I will push in. Will you have the sukha? Or if you can eat 20, I will push the 21st one. Will there be sukha? Because the mind will no longer, the tongue is still coming in contact with the rasgulla, but the mind is not producing the sukha. So there is a krama here. Krama means sequence, that the senses are coming in contact with the object, the signals is reaching the mind, or you can call the subtle indriyas inside the brain. Then that is, the mind is producing the sukha. There is a sequence here. Here there is no sequence. In this Ananda, Atmananda, there is no sequence. It is not an Ananda coming from any contact with anything. That is why it is called Asparsha Yoga. Normal Ananda, always it is in touch with something. Even meditation also, initially Ananda we get, that is still our body feeling is there. And we are looking for some internal experience. Instead of external experience, we are looking for some internal peace or some experience internal which is producing the bliss. So it is still having the duality, it is still having the krama, that when you have this, you have the ananda. That is, ananda is different from you. But this ananda, what they are calling the non-dual ananda, the asparsha yoga, it is not an ananda like that. It is not an ananda you get from anywhere. The soul's property is, it is by itself Ananda. Ananda is not different from the soul. The soul's nature is Ananda. So when we are there, then the Ananda comes. That it is not so like that, but I will become very cheerful and bubbling. No. That is why we always use the word placidity or prasada there. Even Ananda is the common term used, but people misunderstand. It is not like that. And it is the nature of the soul. It is not that I am getting Ananda from somewhere. Are you able to understand? So this is the Asparsha Yoga. Asparsha Yoga, if name you remember, then it is sufficient. Because Sparsha means contact. This is a contactless yoga. Because there is no second to have the contact. And it is all, you lose all the second and the multiplicity, all different, whatever is the other than you. Everything is forgotten and you alone remain everywhere. You alone are. Then not you also, saying you also is wrong, but whatever remains. After rejecting everything, whatever remains, it is that. But that is in the nature of Ananda. That is why we call it Swarupa Ananda. That is our Swarupa, our real nature is Ananda. That is why in the Upanishad it is said, Anandadhyeva khalvimani bhutani jayante, Anandena jatani jivanti. Anandam pravishanti, avisammishanti. Something like that, I might be a little wrong. That is the whole creation, it is born of Ananda. It lives in Ananda. And it merges into, in death or destruction, it merges into Ananda. Ananda is the first creative motion. The vibration comes in the creation. So that is the Swarupa Ananda. So he said that samodate modaniyam hi labdha. Although they are saying, using the figurative language, that he rejoices, modaniyam hi labdha, as if he has got something from somewhere. It is only to attract people. Otherwise nobody will do it. No? Unless we feel that there is something to gain, we will not do it. Vivritam sadma Nachiketasam manye. I consider, O Nachiketa, the Brahma sadhana. Sadma means house, palace. That the Brahma sadhana is wide open. The द्वार खुला है, द्वार आपके लिए खुला है, आप आ जाइए, चले जाइए. This is again praising Nachiketa. That does not mean that Nachiketa has attained or Nachiketa has become realized. No. It means the conclusion of that Nachiketa is a proper, fit receiver, Shishya. He has all the Sadhana Chatushtaya and he can be given the knowledge, then immediately he will be able to absorb. So it is a certificate given that he has passed the test of all the Sadhana Chatushtaya, that he is a fit receptacle. So the Brahma Sadhana is wide open before you. Next verse, let us go. So we have come to this is the 14th verse, no? Next. Yeah. We have come to the next question of Nachiketa. Now you remember Nachiketa's first question, that yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye astityeke nayam astiti chaike etad vidya manushishtastvayaham varanamesha varastritiyah. That is the 20th verse of the first chapter. That he wanted to know that some say when the body falls, some say that is, some say there is nothing. I would like to know the truth of it by remaining under your tutelage, by following the discipline given by you. With that, then all the tests of putting all the allurements before him, he passed all that. Then Yama praised his qualities, that his vairagya and everything, also cautioned him about not to become egoistic, not to become a tarkika and all those things, everything. Then finally certified him that you are a fit receptacle. But then perhaps Yama did not know that Nachiketa already knew so much, had so much of at least theoretical knowledge of this truth. So Nachiketa is giving him further that whatever he knew. He says that I am not interested in whatever you are saying. If you know anything like this, you tell me. This is the last question of Nachiketa. There is only two questions, the first question and this is the last question. then the whole Upanishad actually starts after that. The real Upanishad starts after that. So far it is the Sadhana Chatushtaya, the Adhikari Tattva we say. Adhikari Tattva means who has the Adhikara for this knowledge. The Sadhana Chatushtaya. Anyatra dharmad, anyatra dharmad.
Anyatra dharmad, anyatra dharmat.
Anyatra smat krita kritat.
Anyatra smat krita kritat.
Anyatra bhutacha bhavyaacha.
Anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha.
Yat tat pashyasi tadvada.
Yattat pashyasi tadvada.
He said this also you should take by heart. I will read once more. Anyatra dharmad, anyatra dharmat.
Anyatra dharmad, anyatra dharmat.
Anyatra smat krita kritat.
Anyatra smat krita kritat.
Anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha.
Anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha.
Yat tat pashyasi tadvada.
Yattat pashyasi tadvada.
Yat tat pashyasi tadvada. If you see anything like that, you tell me about that. Now, like what? That he is saying. Anyatra dharmat. Dharmat means from dharma. Panchami vibhakti. Anyatra adharmat. That which is different from dharma and also different from adharma. Now, dharma and adharma are the codes of Shastras. The Shastras define what is dharma, what is adharma. But they are all in the Karma Kanda, as I have explained earlier also. This moral code of dharma, adharma, they are discussed in the Karma Kanda, in the first of the part of the Veda, the ritualistic part of the Vedas. So, he wants to know something different from the Karma Kanda. Those who would like to understand that this is actually, that it means tell me about the knowledge which is not within the Karma Kanda, not within the Yaga Yajna, or the practices, right practices or not wrong practices, codes. Anyatra asmat krita kritat. Krita akrita. That means cause and effect. Krita means the karya, akrita means the karana. So, krita kritat means causality, cause and effect. So, this whole universe as we see is within causality. Even the model I told about, the religious model of Janmantaravada, Punarjanma, Karma and heaven and hell. These three together, three pillars, it stands on these three pillars. That is also within the fold of causality, because karma means causality. It includes the gross causality which we see and subtle causality of the mind, emotion and various things which generally people are not able to conceive of easily. So, everything we see is within the causality. He wants to know something beyond causality. Now, generally here, through argument we try to understand that the truth has to be beyond causality. Why? Suppose we find that find out where from did A come, and we find out that B is the cause of A. B has caused A. Naturally the question will be, where from did B come? So you will find out some C as the cause of B. So like that it will never end. You can go up to any extent, say Z, you will ask, then who has caused Z? Where from did Z come? So this will take you anywhere you go, it is never going to end. So this is called, in English, in philosophy, it is called infinite regression. That means you are going behind. There is no limit to it. It will go. That causality, the nature of causal thinking is like that. It is the defect in the causality. So, in our Shastras, it is called anavastha doshaha. Anavastha means you don't get a final ground on which you stand. So you define somewhere, you start that up to this we know. As in science also, they say that subject we cannot go in, then it will become infinite regression. We decide that whatever we are seeing, that is the existence, we will deal with it, but we will never consider the observer. Although finally observer had to be included, but generally science will not consider the observer. So, as far back you go, you are not going to have any steady support wherefrom you can analyze. Suppose you say that who is revealing it? If the mind, one part of the mind is revealing the other thoughts, then what is that part of the mind, who is revealing that mind? You will find that another part of it. Even if you say that I is revealing, then who is revealing I? These questions will go on. So even if you say that the God has created the universe, very simple innocent question will be that who has created God? If you by God, if you think any external agency who has created and ruling the universe, naturally the question will be who has created God? So this question never ends. So we truncate normally in our religion, we truncate it at Brahma. Brahma means the creator of the world. Artificially we are truncating at a point so that we can go ahead with it. Otherwise we will not be able to proceed. And that is why Brahma is called Swayambhu. Swayambhu means he has created himself, he has come on his own. So that we don't have to look for a cause. But really speaking, you cannot truncate the causality like that. You have to accept that if there is any absolute truth, by definition it has to be beyond causality. See, Nachiketa's question has gone to that far. Try to imagine that it is written or composed how many thousands of years ago, we don't know. So, if we really go into the absolute truth, we have to accept that it has to be beyond causality. Actually, causality means duality. That is why the non-dual is coming. That it has to go beyond duality. Cause and effect chain, time, and cause and effect means time is already there. Whichever is preceding in time is called cause. Whichever is following in time is called the effect. So time also is there, time, causality, they are together. It's all a cyclic process. To go to the absolute, you have to somehow go beyond the cycle. You have to go to that. Now the problem there is that if you think of something which is beyond causality, you call him the God or so, whatever you can call, or the truth. The question is that truth, that absolute truth, it cannot give rise to the universe also. Why? Because then again it becomes the cause of the universe. If you say that God has caused the universe, or say Brahman has caused the universe, let us say Brahman, that is the actual. The Brahman or consciousness has caused the universe, that is the. Then again you are linking it by the causality, is it not? Then you will ask, what is the cause of Brahman? It's not clear. The argument has to go to that subtle level. Who has caused the Brahman? So it has to be beyond the causality, means it cannot cause the universe also. That is why we have the Vivartavada, that universe has not been caused by, it is not a material srishti. Suppose material srishti means you have some item, even to create the Surya, create the sun, you need hydrogen. Then the hydrogen is getting transformed into helium, it is radiating and all the chain is coming. So the whole universe, even if you think of a big bang or anything, that some energy is producing the matter or the matter is converting into energy, everywhere there is, it is called parinama srishti, or in English it is called material creation, causal creation. That is, in cause material is there, effect material is born. When the effect is born, the cause dies. That cause material will be less. When the sun is radiating, part of the hydrogen has got changed into helium and the extra energy created is being radiated. Is it not? The cause is getting affected, is getting changed, transformed. That we have to understand. So the universe, it is not a causal srishti. It is just appearing in the consciousness. There is no time also here. It simply appears in the consciousness. It is called Vivarta Srishti. Vivarta means the cause never gets affected by anything. When it appears in the consciousness does not undergo any change. To understand this technology, we can think of the dream, but don't try to elongate the example too much. In dream, what is happening? The mechanism is the same. In dream, the whole world, the new world, which is with your new body, the dream body and the dream universe, is appearing in your consciousness. There it is in the mind, in your mind also. The whole thing, the dream world, is appearing in that. Now if you think there is no causality there, if you think that suppose you are thinking a palace, that you thought of the palace and then the palace appeared, or palace appeared then you thought of the palace, it's not so. The thinking of the palace and the appearance of the palace, they are together. It just appears. The thinking and the palace, the source, it is all together. It is like that, the conscious, and by that is your consciousness getting affected? So many things are being produced, even in the mind also, it is operating like that. So many thoughts, so many things are happening there, coming, in mind, nothing happens to the consciousness at all. It remains in its pristine form. Like that, this consciousness never gets affected by the universe which appears on it. Now, when we say universe, you have to remember the universe which contains my body, mind, personality also. Do you get my point? Universe which contains my body, mind, personality as a small speck is appearing in the consciousness. So, can you call that consciousness in the body? The body is appearing in that consciousness. Body is part of the nature, part of the universe. The whole thing is appearing in that consciousness. That is why we are saying this consciousness is not individual. It is not fragmented by the body mind. The whole universe appears there, in which my body mind and my small consciousness, that small I, which I call the reflection, the reflected beam in the mirror, that also appears. I have given the example so many times with the diagram that suppose sunlight is coming and I put a mirror here at an angle. So there will be a reflected beam. With that beam you can see many things. You can put millions of mirrors like that in the same sunlight to see the. Now that reflected beam will have some property of the mirror also. Suppose the mirror is red, then the reflected beam will be red. It will have, if it is distorted, the reflected beam also will show some distortion. It will be having the properties of the mirror. Now, is that beam, suppose the mirror starts feeling that this beam is originating from me, is the mirror right? The originating light is coming. To all the mirrors, it is the same light. In one mirror, it is reflected and the reflected beam is coming. And I am thinking that this reflected beam is from me. That is what I am thinking, my eye, that my small eye is that reflected beam. That it is coming, originating from the body of the mirror means, here it is the buddhi. The consciousness I we see, it is called chidabhasa. It is not the chit abhasa, because it is the reflected beam. The original chit reflected in our buddhi. That we think to be the I. Now, when the mirror breaks, the reflected beam is gone. But has anything happened to the light coming? It remains, nothing has happened. Many mirrors will die, many new mirrors will come, they will have their reflected beam. Nothing is going to happen to that I. So once you identify yourself with the real source of the light, then you become immortal. Nothing, you are not touched by your body, mind, personality. The mirror breaking will not have any. Instead of mirror breaking, something is getting disjointed here and the body falls, that much. And we create so much of halla gulla about it. Oh, mar gaya, mar jana hai, mar. Nothing, simply it happens. So, what we do, the entire spiritual technique of reaching it is, we try to turn that small mirror towards the original beam. This is what we do. That is what is adhyatma yoga adhigama. Adhyatma yoga is that. You try to look within from where that I is coming, where from that who am I, where from that I-ness is coming. That I is not the body mind personality, it is the seer of the body mind personality, it is the knower of the body mind, it is the revealer of the body mind. It is not the thoughts, it is not the mind, everything is revealed by that. Then where from that I which is revealing everything. So you are slowly trying to turn the mirror to see where from the I is coming. That means the original beam. When you are successful in doing it, then it is called samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi. That means you have lost the reflected beam, that is not there anymore. That has got merged in the original beam. Then you come to know that I am immortal. So you will no more be disturbed when that mirror breaks. So this is where the causality, we have to go beyond causality, means we have to go to the non-causal srishti. That means parinama srishti, no? It is called vivarta srishti. That is why they take the example of Rajju Sarpa. This also, the examples have to be taken in the limited sense. It can mean many things, but I only want to point out that when Rajju Sarpa example means in the dusk you see a snake, actually it is a rope lying. So seeing the snake, you are terrified, you are trembling and shouting and all. But when you discover that no, the snake is not there, it is a rope, then that everything, all the effect of seeing the snake is gone. Although there will be still continuing, some palpitation will continue. Is it not? The fear will not go immediately. Still some trembling, blood pressure will be different, heartbeat will be different. So that is when you are seeing the snake, did the rope undergo any change? वो रस्सी का कुछ परिवर्तन नहीं हुआ था उस समय भी. जब आप सांप देखते थे उस समय रस्सी रस्सी ही था, सांप तो वहाँ नहीं था. But you are seeing the snake. So like that, when the universe is projected or is displayed, nothing happens to the soul, nothing happens to Brahman, nothing happens to the consciousness. It is just displayed. And when you come to know the rope, that the delusion of the universe goes. It is not that the universe will not be there, you will find that nothing is there anymore and you don't need any food, drink or anything. Not like that. The universe contains your small body, mind, personality and its effect. They are all part of the universe. So that will continue like that. But you will come to know that the whole drama is taking place on the consciousness. So your clinging to various things, your hatefulness to various things, all those things will go. Knowing that truth, part of it. It is like you are laughing, smiling, crying, seeing a film. And are you not happy with that? Suppose it's a tragic film like Pathir Pachali and all. 6 times I have seen, paying money to cry, go and cry. Profusely I used to shed tears. But why are we going again and again? Because we are enjoying are we not enjoying? So dukkha actually we enjoy. But the same thing happening in our family we are not able to enjoy. We have to think why it is happening. The same thing what we are seeing in the film or reading in the tragedy book or so, in some story book or so, we are shedding tears, reading also. But those we are doing because we are enjoying, otherwise we would not have read, we would not have gone and seen the film. But the same thing when it is happening in our family, we are not able to enjoy. That is where the asakti, the clinging is coming. If that clinging is not there, you will have the prasada in sukha and dukkha both. There you are not having because you know that it is a film and it is not related to you, it is something else. So you are enjoying the dukkha very much. The more pathos you see, the more you are happy that so well he has pictured the pathos. But same pathos in our case, in the family, ooh, wailing, crying and whatnot. So this is what happens. This is what is the truth. It changes the vision, the ikshana. It is not the eye's vision. The world will remain the world. Everything will remain same. You will laugh with people, scold people, you can fight with people also. But the ikshana, the vision of the intelligence will undergo a complete transformation. There is a shloka of Shankaracharya. See, on the first page it is there and I am going and looking all the pages. This is what happens. The Atma is right here, I am, but we go on looking the whole world. Afterwards, coming back to the first page, it is there. Brahma pratyaya santatir jagadato brahmaiva tat sarvataha pashyadhyatma drisha prashanta manasa sarvasvavastha swapi रूपादन्यदवेक्षितं किमवितश्चक्षुष्मतां दृश्यते तद्वद्ब्रह्मविदः सतः किमपरं बुद्धेर्विहारास्पदम् ब्रह्मप्रत्ययसन्ततिर्जगदतो ब्रह्मैव तत्सर्वतः पश्याध्यात्मदृशा प्रशान्तमनसा सर्वास्वस्थास्वपि Rupadanyadavekshitam kimavitaschakshushmatam drishyate tadvad brahmavidas satah kimaparam buddhir viharaspadam. This is Vivekachudamani 521, verse 521. He says that the whole universe, it is just an appearance of sequence in the Brahman itself. That is the projection, there is a sequence. Once the creation is there, the earth is created from the sun. In the earth, the vegetation came, then the human beings came. There is a time sequence, causality, everything. It's a progression. Santati they have used. Santati means like our children. The whole progression, it is actually only a release in the Brahman, nothing else. So Brahmaiva tat sarvataha. It is all appearance in the Brahman. So everywhere it is Brahman. Pashya adhyatma disha, adhyatma drisha. When we look at it with the adhyatma drisha, Pashya adhyatma drisha, that means with the ikshana, as I said just now, with the spiritual vision, prashanta manasa, sarvasvavasthasvapi, in all the states, whatever state you are going through, you are active, inactive or anything, this adhyatma drisha will be there. How? Rupad anyad avekshitam kimavitas chakshushmatam drishyate. A person who has got eyes, does he not see the rupa everywhere? Rupa means the forms, the vision. One who has the eyes, he sees the rupa everywhere. Like that, tadvad brahmavidah satah kimaparam buddhir viharaspadam. For a brahmavid, for his buddhi, what else is there other than the sataha, other than the chit or the truth? There is nothing else. Whatever he sees, it is an appearance in the, but it is a buddhi vision. It is an ikshana. Bhagavad Gita uses the word again and again, ikshana. Ikshana means not a physical drishti, but it is shining in the buddhi. Buddhi reveals everything. Everything is revealed by the buddhi. Buddhi means the understanding. And it is always shining in the buddhi. That is why Kathopanishad says, Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate. Atmana vindate viryam vidyaya vindate amritam. Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate. When man becomes immortal, when he sees this truth in every perception. Pratibodha viditam. How does he see in every perception? Because all the perceptions are revelation taking place in consciousness. That is the revealer. The Atma is the revealer. Whatever it reveals, be it an object, gross object, or a thought, or an imagination, a concept, or an emotion, everything is revealed by that consciousness. We are missing the consciousness. Our focus is on what is revealed, on the jada, on the inert thing, inert thought. But when the focus changes on to the revealer, then he finds revealer and revealer alone. It is like writing an elephant with the chalk or writing a glass with the chalk. Both the elephant and glass are written in chalk powder or in the air. Like that, everything is written in the consciousness. We can go to the next. So let us. Oh no, I have not completed the verse. I am still in krita krita, the causality I was discussing. Anyatra dharmad, anyatra adharmat, anyatra asmat krita kritat, anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha yattat pashyasi tadvada. Bhuta means past and bhavya means future. So what you find beyond past and future, that means beyond time. If you find, it is already he has said beyond the code of dharma, then beyond the causality, and naturally it will be beyond time. Beyond causality means it has to be beyond time. Now he has mentioned only bhuta and bhavya, means past and future. There also there is a meaning. We could have mentioned present also, but the chandas of the mantra would not have been there. We need not, because present is really speaking not there. Why? Because you can measure to the, how many nanoseconds you can measure. Say you can measure 10 to the power minus 24 second also. Then 10 to the power minus 24 second back is past and forward is future. So you can, the present, if those who know calculus, you can say the limit of the present is 0. You can reduce it, it depends on your measurement. As small as you measure, so small is the present. But the real present is eternal. That is the real present. That is what the spiritualists say, that living in the present and all. They mention about living in the present. Living in the present means the timeless present. That is what the spirituality means. It is not the time, present tense of the time. That is a timelessness. That is the present, we say. It is not the present in the usual sense. Am I clear? So it means that. This you should take by heart. Anyatra dharmad, anyatra dharmad.
Anyatra dharmad, anyatra dharmat.
Anyatra smat krita kritat.
Anyatra smat krita kritat.
Anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha.
Anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha.
Yattat pashyasi tadvada.
Yattat pashyasi tadvada.
So this is a master question of Nachiketa. You can easily understand the kind of philosophy involved. If not, you have, it may not be Nachiketa, but you can think that thousands and thousands of years ago, when there was hardly any civilization in the world, our people have created this literature. At least that gratefulness should be there. Minimum 5,000, it could be 20,000, 30,000, who knows, because it is prehistoric. We cannot say how long back. Even if you think of 3,000, 4,000 years ago, what was the civilization on the world? They were only fighting with each other. What kind of logic and what kind of lofty thoughts they have given. It is only because of the experimental discovery they had. If they had not discovered the truth experimentally, all these things they would not have been able to give. Now, Yamaraja comes with starting the instruction. I will not go into the detail, I will just read 3 shlokas and then stop today. This you will find similar shloka in Bhagavad Gita 8th chapter 11th verse. Sarve veda yat padamamananti.
Sarve veda yat padamamananti.
Tapamsi sarvani cha yadvadanti.
Tapamsi sarvani cha yadvadanti.
Yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti.
Yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti.
Tatte padam sangrahena bravimi.
Tatte padam sangrahena bravimi.
Om ityetat.
Om ityetat.
Sarve veda yat padamamananti.
Sarve veda yat padamamananti.
Tapamsi sarvani cha yadvadanti.
Tapamsi sarvani cha yadvadanti.
Yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti.
Yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti.
Tatte padam sangrahena bravimi.
Tatte padam sangrahena bravimi.
Om ityetat.
Om ityetat.
He says this is the synthesis. He is starting with a synthesis. Sarve vedayat padam amananti. All the Vedas, the 4 Vedas, everywhere, whatever they are prescribing, looking into which goal. The goal is the same of all the Vedas. As I was discussing about yoga, the asana, etc. The goal is to reach this level, not to remain in the physical level and the pranic level of pranayama and yoga and having a physical fitness alone. That physical fitness is necessary to pursue the sadhana and ultimately attain this goal. Sarve vedayat padam amananti. All the Vedas, they are speaking in contradictory terms, various terms in various chandas, in various shlokas, talking about this yaga, that yaga, this hell, this heaven, everything, but they are all directed, they are all the fulcrum of that, the pith of that is to reach this goal. This is the ultimate evolution and attainment of human life. The goal is that. We should know that all those other things are only step by step to reach this goal. Tapamsi sarvani cha yadvadanti. Whatever austerities we perform, tapasyas we perform, the ultimate, we may do tantrika tapasya, this tapasya, that tapasya, sitting in the graveyard or anything, or standing on one leg also. But we have to understand that the goal is this. They are all done with this ultimate goal. Yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti. Those who are practicing celibacy, they are also taking to that celibate's life, thinking of this goal, that I have to attain my real identity. I have to realize the truth with that idea. Tatte padam sangrahena bravimi. I will tell you about that goal. Yamaraja tells Nachiketa that I will tell you about that goal which all the Vedas, all the tapasyas, even the brahmacharya, everything looks towards. That goal I will tell you in essence. That sangrahena, that does not mean briefly. The translation, it is written briefly, briefly. It is not brief or summary or anything. In essence, a real teacher, a teacher who has realized the truth, he gives to the disciple only in essence what it is, the real thing he gives. Other things he can read himself and get. There is no summarization necessary. The essential truth he tries to communicate and transfer. So sangrahena means from that, collecting the, just like a bee collecting the honey from everything and keeping it. He transfers that. Tatte padam sangrahena bravimi. I will tell you that. Om ityetat. That is represented by the symbol Om. Om is the symbol of Brahma Vidya. That is the Brahma Vidya. Now here there will be another two shlokas are there. They are parallelly can be interpreted in two ways. It is Om Upasana also. Those who are not fit for knowledge, they can use this Omkara as a practice by taking the sound of the Omkara as a vehicle and the meaning of the Omkara as a vehicle also. It can be used as a mantra for attaining the ultimate. But not up to the end. The end you have to take to Brahma Vritti. For the others, the Om actually is a symbol of this Brahma Vidya. It represents Brahma Vidya. And Mandukya Upanishad is entirely on this symbol. It's an elaboration of the Omkara. So I will take it up tomorrow.